Hey, Scott here, the Golf Strength Coach, and welcome to the YouTube channel for golfstrengthcoach.com. So in this video, I wanted to give you a few tips for working on the king of all golf strength exercises, which is the squat. So let's go ahead and get started. So first, when you're getting under the bar, you want to have your feet basically at shoulder width apart. Your heels are basically shoulder width, and you want your toes pointed out at about 30 to 35 degrees. That way, then that gives your knees a little bit more room and your hips a little bit more room to get involved in the exercise and give yourself a better chance for increasing that range of motion as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to get in a prayer position, and we want to drop down into that squat position. So the first thing I want to show you after the position of our feet is get your elbows inside your knees, and I want you to drive your elbows into your knees so you feel like you're driving your knees outward to the sides. And that's basically what you want to feel when you're at the bottom of your squat. Pretty good stretch there. So if you're pretty tight in the groin like I am, that might be a little bit difficult to get down there. So you want to really practice this exercise even while you're starting to train with the bar on your back. So just get down there, and it'll also be helpful to do a good bit of stretching. If you don't have a stretching routine, we have that at the website as well. So again, hands together, get down into that position, drive your knees out with your elbows. Now, you're going to notice that I'm bending at the waist as I go down, because this is not a high bar squat. We have the bar lower on our back, so we need our upper body to be a little bit more horizontal than vertical in order to keep the bar over the center of our foot as we're going down and then pushing back up into the squat from the bottom of the squat. So we get in this position. You'll notice that I'm not vertical like this. I'm more bent over, and you want that crease of your hip below your patella. So just slightly below, that's all you got to get to, but that shows you how deep in the squat that you want to get. You want to feel your back is nice and flat in this position, and you're looking at a spot on the floor about 4 to 6 feet in front of you. Don't want to keep your head down. That's a habit that I tend to have, looking closer to me. And then from this position, you want to feel like your hips are driving up first. So if somebody's pushing down on the lower part of your back, you want to push their hand up and then rise up out of the squat. Now, if this is a position that's tough for you to get into, if you're a little bit older, you've got some tricky knee issues or whatever, you can certainly start out with no weight and squatting down into a higher position. So we call this kind of a box squat. So on this bench behind me, I've just got a yoga block. So you want to start off, if you're an older athlete, get those feet about shoulder width apart. The feet are angled out, and just have your arms out in front of you and stand up, and then go back down and stand up. Now you can add a little bit of weight to this with a dumbbell, turn it into what we call more of a goblet squat. And then if you have the ability to get down into the full bottom position, remember to get those knees inside those elbows, the elbows inside the knees. Shove the knees out, drive the hips up, and stand up. So this is a decent way to also get started with a squat. If you don't have a barbell, perhaps you don't have the leg strength, a goblet squat will get you started in developing the strength that you need in your legs, your hips, your low back, and whatnot to get going towards getting the squat into your strength training routine. Okay, so that's a few tips there. I'm going to take a pause and then we're going to show you how to get under the bar. Okay, so let's talk bar position on our back. So there's basically 3 different positions you can put the barbell on your back when you're doing a squat. So the first 2 are different versions of a high bar squat. The most common version is to just let the bar rest right on top of your shoulders. So you grab the bar and you wrap your thumbs around the bar. Put yourself under the bar, get the bar right under the right on top of the shoulders, and then you unrack it. Now, when you're in this high bar kind of a position with the bar right on top of your shoulders, you're going to be squatting with a more vertical vertical torso position. There's not going to be anywhere near as much bend at the waist as you're going down through the movement, because you've got to keep the bar over the center of your feet, and right now that's exactly where it is. So I squat down. There's going to be a little bit of a bend at my waist, and then I just drive the bar back up, mainly with my quads. Now, a second high bar position is where it's going to be actually resting on top of my traps. So I want to squeeze my shoulder blades together, and that helps to tighten the back up a little bit as well. And you want to feel, you know, your low back nice and tight too through the movement. Again, you're going to grab the bar with the thumbs wrapped around the bar. You're going to squeeze your shoulder blades together, get under the bar, and feel that shelf of muscle formed when you squeeze those shoulder blades together, and you sit the bar right on top of that. So it's a little bit below that previous position that I just showed you. Now, because you're just a little bit below, you can bend at the waist slightly on the way down and still keep the bar over the center of your foot. So it'll look more like this. Again, though, you're still going to be driving back up with your quads and feeling like your chest is driving up rather than the hips. So lastly is our preferred position, which is the low bar. So many lifters will try to feel like that bar is sitting right below the point of the shoulder, the spine of the scapula, to get that bar in that that low bar position. I like to feel it more like when I squeeze my shoulder blades together, that the bar is sitting right below my traps. So that last position that we demonstrated on the high bar was sitting right on top of the traps. This time it's sitting right below. Now, this takes a little effort to get under the bar this way. So if you have trouble with your shoulders, you got stiffness, if you're an older dude like I am, I've got a shoulder issue in this left shoulder. I've had a little bit of slouched posture my entire life, so that causes a little bit of a problem for me. And then the other issue that I deal with this low bar squat is elbow tendonitis tends to creep in when the weight goes up on the bar. So I'll explain in another video how I'm dealing with that. Now with this, the hand position, the thumbs do not wrap around the bar, because if you do that and you're in the low bar position with the bar, your wrists are going to get bent back like that, and there's going to be just too much pressure on the wrists. The idea with having the thumbs over top of the bar is that we're trapping the bar on our back with our hands with some assistance from our elbow position as well. So it kind of looks like that. What I recommend that you do before you even get the bar on your back and start doing any reps is loosen up your shoulders with whatever stretches that you use. I just do some swimmers, that kind of thing, tricep stretches, shoulder stretches, doorway stretches, and whatnot to get them nice and loose first, well, reasonably loose, and then you work on this position a few times before you actually start doing any reps. So I'm in position. By now my shoulders are pretty well loosened up, and I can unrack the barbell. So I feel like my hands are trapping the bar onto my back. I want to keep my elbows down as much as possible without bending too much of my wrists. Because of my left shoulder issue, my left wrist tends to bend a little bit more than the right. But I feel with this position, the barbell is right below my traps, and this allows me to bend over more in the waist on the way down. I shove the knees out, drive up with the hips, and stand it back up. And again, you want to keep your eyes on a spot that's like 4 to 6 feet in front of you. I tend to get focused on a spot a little bit too close to me. That drops my head a little bit, and that's something I need to work on myself. But you also don't want to be looking straight up or straight across the room in front of you either. So those are some tips for working on your low bar squat. If you have any questions, go to the website, shoot me an email. golfstrengthcoach.com. Just click the link below this video, and we'll see you down the road.